To the cloud. Okay, we are recording. Welcome everybody. Another Saturday night date night. I heard you guys. Everybody is always welcome to come in a little bit early and chat, and we always stay after and chat too, so it turns into a very nice time. So welcome. We've got again a really great program tonight with lots of interesting things. It was kind of a free-for-all because a lot of people asked some questions over the course of the week, and remember the whole point of this was so often like something really cool happens with a student during the week and we do a lesson with somebody, or there's a breakthrough or a great question that comes up. It's like, boy, I wish we could all share this. So it's really great community. It's a learning community, really what it is. The big announcement though is in Ohio we have very slowly started to open things up, and so I'm back doing private lessons and semi-private lessons and traveling for lessons effective Tuesday. And we got back from, it worked out perfectly because we got back from Florida a week and a half ago, and we've been on a 14-day quarantine because we traveled. So that's happening starting Tuesday. And then the following weekend, the 16th and 17th, we'll do our first clinic here. And we have, the clinic title is Wild and Woolly Spring Tune-Up. And I'll talk about that in a second. But I'm excited about that. We have lots of safety protocols in place. They're all outlined on tompompei.com if you want to check it out. We've talked with a lot of barns in the area, a lot of big barns that have like 80 horses, and what the protocols they've been putting in place to keep things going and keep things safe for everybody. So I think it makes sense. It's pretty reasonable. And so I welcome you. The place is looking great because Mike and I have been on quarantine, so we've had nothing to do except clean and get the place looking good. So it's coming along real nice. And of course, spring is a great time of year to renew. So we're excited about that. So wild and woolly and full of fleas, never been curried below the knees, is the old saying about horses that are, just coming off the pasture and haven't been messed with and certainly not touched below their knees or anything. So it gives us all an excuse to say, okay, well, it's springtime. How would you bring a horse back when you haven't had time to play with them, or for whatever reason, or just let's get prepared for a great season. So that's a good one to come to. The new protocol though is no auditors. So sorry about that, but that is on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we'll have in 2 weekends, we'll have our Zoom webinar here as part of that clinic. So that'll be kind of fun. I have some exciting ideas about that. So please come, please join us, feel free to. And the whole calendar for Ohio is on the website. It's got a blue highlight like that. And the private lessons have been going really, really well. And so have the internet lessons, the virtual lessons. There's 3 ways to do lessons. The first one is the traditional way, face-to-face. I travel to you, you come over here to H&P, or if you're in Florida, come visit me in Florida, or I can travel to you. The second way that's working well is a virtual lesson where you record a little snippet of something that you're working on video, upload it to YouTube, and then we watch it together using FaceTime and then go through it. And that's been going really well. And the advantage of that is you can slow everything down. So often you're busy thinking about your horse, and maybe your horse is maybe a little bubbly or something in the moment, and your focus is on that. And then part of your focus is trying to hear the instruction, trying to get out of this what you can get. And so you get divided in your focus. So this is a nice thing because it slows it down. We can go frame by frame if need be, and point to lots of different resources. So it works out really well. I've been excited about the format. I'm surprised. I didn't think it was going to work well, but it is working really well. And the other way to do a private lesson virtually is real time. So you need a buddy to hold the phone for you and turn on FaceTime, and then you put in wireless earbuds, and I can follow you, right? And you can hear me right in your ear. And I can say, oh, a little more direct rein, or, oh, stop. And I can coach you right through it right then and there. And then we can also point to resources, and I can, have that happen. So that works really well, but you need a buddy to help you with that one. So 3 ways, and we've got great lesson packages. So They're the one of, if you get a sign up for a 6-pack of lessons, that's 6 hours of lessons. That's a $265 savings, because it also includes a half-off clinic at H&P or in Florida. So you want to take advantage of that one if you can. And then the 4-pack of lessons is $60 off the regular rate. So it's a pretty nice deal. So I'm excited about that. So there ends the commercial. Zoom etiquette. Zoom has let me know that on May 30th, they're going to upgrade to Zoom version 5. So if you haven't upgraded your Zoom program, you might want to do it before May 30th, or it's going to force you to upgrade when you log in, and it might take some time. So just a little note on the side there. And remember, let's not create any YouTube sensations by mistake. If you need to leave for a bio break or anything like that, just go. Don't take your computer in the bathroom with you. That's not okay. There's lots of scary stories about that out there. So thank you. And again, I'm willing to keep this going as long as we want to keep it going. It's an awful lot of fun, and it seems to be going really, really well. And it's a great focus. Don't forget, mark your calendar, Thursday, July 16th, Savvy Club members. I'll be on the Parelli Savvy Club instructor question and answer on trail riding. And as you know, I'm super excited about that. And we talked about opening up and blah, 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 in the first clinic, Wild Woolly Spring Tune-Up. Okay, we're all good. Going on, old business. We had a question about rollbacks and flying changes. So I wanted to show you that. First of all, what is a flying change? What does that look like with the footfalls? And then I have a video or two to show you of that. So here's the first one. I hear dog. So let me see if I can switch this over. Somebody's at our front door, so you're about to hear the dog barking a lot. All right, where is the video? There I am. Sorry, this is a little tricky on the tech, and I'm spotlighting that. All right. The host spotlighted your video. Would you like to unmute? No. All right. So I don't know, can everybody see that? This is a slow motion view. I just pulled this off of YouTube. And just to go through your footfalls again, there's a moment of suspension when all the feet are up. Then right hind, diagonal pair, left front. Watch again. Whoops, that was the change. So let's go back. And there's the change. I'm going to go back just a little bit farther. What I do when I watch these flying changes is I watch the back feet. Just not going back far enough. So there's the right hind, diagonal pair. There it is. Right hind, diagonal pair. There it is. Here comes the fly. Now watch the back feet. Do you see him switch? Now it's left hind, diagonal pair, left. It's just as easy as that. Watch again. Leave it going there. And right there, they switch. There's the change. Okay, so that is a flying change, and how the footfalls work. Now, horses do flying changes naturally on their own. If you watch them out in the field, they'll do that all the time without any without anybody doing anything. They'll just go and they'll decide they want to turn and go that way. So there's all kinds of different ways to teach a horse and human to do flying changes. But there's a reason why in level 4, in the Parelli system, level 4, it's flying changes in all 4 savvies, because the horse has to be mentally collected, physically collected, emotionally collected, and they have to be athletic and be able to do all that. So to do a flying change riding, and we saw that was in finesse, but to do a flying change with freestyle riding, which is like what we saw with Mary last week, just carrot sticks, nothing on the face. And then to be able to do flying changes at Liberty with no ropes or no halter, and then online. So that's kind of like a great standard as a super great foundation. So everything has to be there for that to happen, and the horse can't be tense. It doesn't work with if there's rib tension or they don't know how to bend. So let's watch another video, and this one. And I started to say I've seen all kinds of ways. Whoops, that was it. And let me get back over to there. Seen all kinds of different ways to teach flying changes, and the ones that I like the best are the ones where it looks natural. So I've seen them where there's a whole bunch of ripping and knocking people over and moving real fast. So the 5:12 is the timing on this. This is Peaches. And I like this one because all I did was I just kind of changed direction and she decided to do the change. So let's take a look at that. Did you see it? It's just like a skip. Let's watch again. Right there. Nice and smooth, no hurt, no jerking around or anything like that. I was real happy with that one. The next one I wasn't happy with, it was a step late. So let's watch that. 5:26. So she's coming around on a left lead. And there she did it, as just a step late was all. And I'm slightly out of control. That's okay. So Pat Parelli was the one that told me to make a game of the change. So the way that I got Peaches to really do this, she did not know how to do this when I first got her. I just made it a game. And so what happened after these changes, I would go on to something else or just relax. And then we're in a nice big arena, which helps a lot. And so we just went on to something else. So that helps her quite a lot. So do you have any questions about the flying changes? Did I explain that the best way possible? Turn that back there. So raise your hand if you have a question or you'd like to make a comment. You know, watching that video, that was a couple of years ago, and I'm laughing a little bit because Peaches, there was a couple times there where my body's saying turn left, and she's like, "No, I'm not turning." She was when I first got her, she was very, very robotic, and she would not open up. So she's a different horse. As you know, sometimes you go back and look at a video and you go, "Huh, that's interesting." So that was my interest there, because like, oh wow, she's come a long way in a short amount of time. Mary's got a question, so go ahead, Mary, unmute yourself.
I think it was last week you mentioned, I don't remember which horse would not change on the hind.
Yeah.
And I have that problem with Paris sometimes. How did you overcome that?
Yeah, that was a good question. It was Spark, and he would always just change on the front, but not the back end. And how I dealt with that one was twofold. First, I went a lot faster, like fast. And when I thought I was going fast, I was told to even go faster, because it's easier for him at first when he's trying to learn how to manage his body to make that change. They call it a flying change because you need to be flying. And so it was a little bit cowboy to fix that, but going really, really fast gave him enough impetus to make the change. And then also playing games like, and I know Mary, we did this in one of our lessons where I asked for the change and then a sharp right turn and a sharp right turn around a barrel. And so if he didn't do the change, well, that's really hard to canter a sharp turn around a barrel. And so that was the game. If you do the change, then this barrel thing would be easy. And so once he was convinced that there's a reason for the change, it was his idea then to do it. And also jump pulls helped him a lot. And you know what, Mary, what really helped him is what I told you last time too, is putting three, and sometimes five jumps in a row. And then he would be elevated the first two, and then the third I would switch my focus, and he'd do the flying change there because he knew he still had two more jumps. And we're not talking big jumps, just Cavaletti, but it was like he was up, might as well change. He was up. So getting that elevation was very helpful for him. And the real reason he was doing it is because I was yanking him with the reins to get the change before I knew any better. And so there was just tension. And so that's what really unlocked it for him. And talking with the Pat Parelli about it, he said, hey, there's so many different things that help horses with flying changes. You just got to keep working on the elements and figure out which one works for that horse. So what works for that horse might not be what works for another horse.
Thank you.
Good question. Thank you, Mary. I think I can put your hand down. Lower hand. Boom. Any other questions on those flying changes? Why would you need to do a flying change? I mean, unless you're doing a Western sport or you have level 4 goals, I think those are good reasons to do flying changes. I like the challenge of it. And I think they're pretty. Major friends. I have noticed though that a whole lot of stuff gets good when you're working on flying changes. And so your sideways games get really good, your flexion games get really good. All the things that we're working on aren't just to do flying changes. They're things to gymnasticize your horse and help them balance themselves and be relaxed. So it's a good thing to do, but maybe your goals are just to get safe. That's cool. Maybe your goal is to be safe and have some fun. That's level 2. That's cool. Maybe your goals are to get a little handy and just get better and start to look pretty good. Well, that's level 3. And then level 4, you're starting to look like a professional. So somebody told me, well, I can't do flying changes. I'm out of the Parelli program. And I've heard more than one person say that. I can't pass 4, forget it, I'm out, and they quit. And how sad, because that means somebody somewhere along the line did a disservice to that person by saying that that's what had to happen in order to stay into the program. And that's just, there's so much more to this than just that. I think you're all knowing that, because I see a bunch of people nodding. Yeah. So whatever your goals are, this program helps you with all of that. You don't need to be going on to level 5. If you're a competitive person, then yes. Or if you're like me, I'm like a learnaholic. I keep wanting to get better and absorb these things. And so that's what motivates me, but different people are motivated. I know 80% of my friends, they just want to go have a great, safe, connected trail ride. And that's good. But my definition of a trail ride might be a little different than theirs. Mine is, I want my horse to stay connected with me the whole time. I want to be in partnership with my horse. I don't want my horse connecting with the herd and not paying any attention to me. And I want to feel good at the end of the trail ride. I don't want to feel like, oh my gosh, I just barely survived that. And I love sitting around a campfire and hearing people's stories, but oh my heavens, sometimes the stories, it's kind of scary. It's like, what are you doing? So This program is so powerful for that. So that's kind of where my focus is. Cool. All right, if there's no more flying changes questions. Oh, Carla's at watching online church. Oh, okay, I'm here. Okay, good. Thanks. Thanks, Carla. Gotcha. This could be our horse church. Great. Okay, the next thing I wanted to show is rollbacks, because we had a question about rollbacks, and I may have confused. I didn't answer it well last week. And after the webinar was over, I was like, I didn't do a good job answering what's the definition between a rollback and when you're doing the falling leaf pattern. And I was saying one of the things that I was rushing my horses through it, and they were popping up in front, popping up like that. And I said that wasn't ideal, and that's not a rollback. And so I want to show you a quick video of what a rollback is. And it's a Western move. It's in reining, and it is really about cow sorting and cowy kind of maneuver. So here's this is great. Look how braced I am right there. Isn't that awesome? And watch my stop. I very nearly come out of the saddle. Okay, so here we go. Going. Okay, that was real nice. So here's the rollback. Okay, and she's about to do another one. And what you'll notice is she backs up, puts her weight in the back end, and swings the front end around. Boop, 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 just like that, and goes and catches the cow. So that's an example of what a rollback is. And I think I might have another one. Nah, we don't need another one. That was good. So that's the difference there. Does anybody have any questions or statements about that one? Suzanne's got her hand up. Go ahead, Suzanne.
When you were asking for the rollback, are you pushing with pushing her front legs over, her front end?
Exactly, yes.
Are you doing anything with the hindquarters? Are you pushing the hindquarters anyway, or you don't want them to move really?
Yeah, the ideal is that they rock back and turn over their front. And that's exactly what we've been working on with these hindquarters and forequarter yields that we've been playing with the past couple sessions here on these webinars. And I've got two more examples, two more little games we can play with that are awfully fun to help that. But it's really nice because have you ever seen a horse be heavy on the forehand? Everybody put your hand up. Yes, it seems like a horse naturally, if they're just standing still, they put 60% of their weight on their front end. And so when you're trying to do these more athletic moves, they have to get their weight back. So if you saw that roll back, she put her weight on her hindquarter and was free to move her front end. And boy, they can move really fast. And when you're needing to stop a cow and the cow goes the other way, you need to turn quick. And popping up in front doesn't do it. So you'll start to watch some of these better Western performance classes, and you'll see the horses that are balanced, they're sinking low, they're getting back and turning quickly without any, I mean, it's amazing how quick it happens. And if you've never ridden a cutting horse, I really recommend you find a way to do that, because it'll give meaning to all of what that feels like. It's so athletic. And again, does your horse have to go chase cows? No, but to be able to balance back and move will help your horse last longer. It'll help them be less stressed. My first horse, Joey, was always heavy on the front end, and I think he was just predisposed to that. He was a downhill horse. I didn't know any better, and he just started to have all kinds of ligament problems in his front end. And I often wonder, if I knew then what I knew now, maybe I could have helped that a little bit more without letting him just be so forward, and not forward, but down on that front end. Probably not. I think that was just a matter of genetics, but there are a lot of horses that could benefit health-wise from this type of of information and us knowing too. And then your rider biomechanics come into this as well. So if you feel a horse sit back, you know you're balanced. Because if you're leaning forward, that horse cannot lean back and balance back or balance. So the second your head's down, or your hands are low, or your hands are in the wrong position, or you go piano hands, your weight dumps forward, which puts weight on that horse's front end and makes it impossible for them to balance. So that's why we do all these sideways games. Sideways games are a great balancer. Good, good. Spence, Lisa's got a question. Go ahead, Lisa. She's like, Lisa's like throwing stuff at the screen. Hey, call on me.
In a perfect world, I think you started to explain that last week when we were talking about Pat doing the falling leaf game. And so in a perfect world, with a horse at a fast trot or a canter, like on a 45, would you have a rollback for the turnaround in the falling leaf?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Great question. Any others? Perfect. All right, so just throw something at me if you have a question. Virtually. All right, so the next thing I wanted to show you a little hindquarter, forequarter game, and I've got 2 or 3 different ways to play this. One of them is real simple, one of them is needlessly complicated, and one of them's really fun. So how's that for a setup? All right, so let me turn the other video back on. And we're looking for, I should have a producer for this. Peaches, FQ, 3 minutes and 33 seconds. So where's Peaches for a quarter? 3 minutes, 33 seconds. Pardon my lack of professional clothing on this video. So remember last time we talked about stepping out, lining up with the shoulder, my shoulder to her shoulder, stepping out, and giving the horse room to bring their head through. So it was a little hard to see, but she had room to bring her head through and face me. I probably could have stayed a little closer to her shoulder. Now watch this slick move I learned from Pat Parelli, and it's in the Four Savvies. Stick behind my back to help her finish it out, and then walking a front end. That was pretty nice. Let's watch that again real quick. So there I am stepping to the side. Now right here, I'm too close. She's a little short-necked horse, so it was fine, but I should stay by the shoulder. I'm back in zone 2 right now. See how far? I'm too far. I should move my feet faster. She came through anyway. And then you just continue the move on the front end. So it's hind quarter, front end. And this is in your level 2. And I think Peaches does a really nice job here because she's pivoting on that back foot. That's what Lisa was talking about. So that was really nice. Let's take a look at another one that's even easier to see. This will be, let's see, Sticks doing it. I love this angle that Mike videoed this from up in our hayloft. So there I am again in bad position. I'm in zone 2. I really should be in zone 3. But look, he's putting effort into getting his head around. That nice and smooth there. And the other reason that I like this is you can see the banana bend in him. Can you see the banana? That's kind of fun. All right, so here's there's a really nice, that's a really nice way to do this. here's another nice way. If you know how to pony a horse, I thought this looked pretty nice because you could see the horses doing it with each other here a little bit. So I make this a little bigger. There we go. So you can see right there, Peaches is driving the hindquarter. Peach is pushing that hindquarter, and we're just waiting for him to bring his head around. There, he's brought his head around. And now Peaches is pushing the front end. And you know what's funny, and I'm glad I did this because the last time we were on a trail together, I was ponying this just like this. And about every 20 minutes or so, Peaches would just want to lash out and kick at him. And what I did, we got to an open area and I just did this little exercise. And it took care of all of that. Because then Styx was like, oh, I need to yield. I need to yield my front end and my back end. Tom was helping out a little bit there. That's pretty nice. So that's a good way to see it too. And now here I have, this is the last one, and it's Peach's front quarter. Oh wait, I have a picture of this too, because we looked at stuff like this last time. And I thought, well, there it is right there. She's got her energy right at his hindquarter. So if you ever want to pony a horse with another horse, it'd be a good idea to grab a lesson with a Parelli professional. But the most important thing is that you not tie that rope to anything. Because if things go bad, you can just let go. But there's some prerequisites. It's really good for the horse that you're on. It's really good for the other horse. Maybe in one of these clinics, we'll do that with each other. It'd be a lot of fun. But it needs to be set up for safety. So if both horses don't know the 7 games, it's not going to go well. I hope that's obvious. All right, so here's a challenge. Should you choose to accept it? And it's not a formal challenge or anything like that, but this is pretty nice. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to drag my feet in the sand. And you might have done this with me before if you've been in a clinic. So I'm dragging my feet and I'm looking at the hindquarter, and now the front end came along. So the goal, so you can see the circle, the goal is that the horse stays in the circle the whole time. So there's hindquarter, hindquarter. Now the front end came around. So you switch tools. And oh no, oh, Peaches is going to come out of the circle. I had to wiggle my rope. And there it is. Isn't that nice? So you can see the circle down there with my feet. So that's a kind of a nice little challenge. What most horses do, they do what Peaches did. They start dumping their weight forward. Let me show you that. And then all you got to do is say, oh, hey, would you mind backing up? So watch this. She's going to dump her weight forward and start walking forward. And I just said, hey, by the way, would you mind backing up a little? Now she got back into balance. So there's a little challenge for you should you choose to accept it. That's a kind of a fun one. Don't make it all about that though, but it will let you know whether the horse is in balance or not. All right, questions on those 3 things. So we had, let me hit the right button again and get myself back on here somehow. There's the button. Pardon me. Oh, I'm back. Okay, any questions on forequarter, hindquarter yields? Boy, we sure do a lot of forequarter, hindquarter yields in horsemanship. Direct rein, indirect rein. We were just, Krista was taking a lesson this week, a video lesson. She did it live, and we were working on the figure 8, and I keep going back to that figure 8 going, well, that's the same set of skills. There's a hindquarter and a forequarter, a hindquarter and a forequarter. Oh, it's in everything. Excellent. Cool. All right. And I have one more. This is the one that goes needlessly complex. Dave Ellis taught me this first, but it's in a lot of things too. And he called it finesse online. And I just went, what? He said, finesse online means you're talking to the feet, each foot. And we started to look at that when we did our hind quarter, forequarter yields last week, where we were saying, okay, you know, that lead leg, if we could talk to that. And then I never explained how you talk to the lead leg. So, so here's a nice little timing exercise, and it sticks at the walk. I need to turn the video back on again. Where's the video? There it is. Boink and boink. I'm starting to get a lot of respect for people who are doing radio and television and what it takes to actually put something together. All right, sticks walk, right? And the time code is 108. All right, so I'll just let this play so you can see what the exercise looks like. All right, I think we filmed this today. So I'm pushing his front end. I'm pushing his lead leg. And I switch to his hind leg, and now I'm pushing his lead leg again. So watch again. I'm going to back that up because he did a better job on this one. It's easier to see. So right here, I'm going to start talking to that lead leg right there. Now, if you watch my head, back it up again. If you watch my head bobbing up and down, my head's going up in time with that lead leg. Watch again. So my head's bobbing in time with his right front. Up, 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 up. You see it? So now I'm going to switch my timing, and I'm going to put my timing with the lead hind quarter. That's the leg that's behind, that's farthest away. Up, up, up. Now I'm back to lead leg. Up, 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 up. Okay, so watch the whole sequence one more time and only watch me. And I'll call the ups. Up, up, just keep your eye on Tom. Up, 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 up. So you can see how I was trying to time it just as his foot was coming off the ground. So if he maintains gait nicely, the timing of it is this: up, 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 up. It switches. Okay. So in a perfect timing, it goes, let me do it again. It's up, 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 up. So if you're a musician, it's this: 1, 2, 1, 2, up, 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 up. It goes like opposite. So it switches gears. Okay, we'll watch it one more time. Needlessly complicated, maybe, but it really helps a horse get their flexion right. Up, 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 up. That's the front foot. Up, 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 up. up, up. Yeah, it's too bad that he kind of lost his impulsion in that. So this is kind of I would say that's more of a level 4 task exercise like that, and it is a really, really good one for, again, for gymnasticizing. Lisa's got a question. Go ahead, Lisa.
Yeah, so when you did that, when you were using your head, did you also use the carrot stick in that time too?
I did. And I'm glad you asked that question, because when I first learned this, I wasn't effective. So what was happening was I would time it, and the foot wasn't stepping out any, and I just kept the same pressure, and it wasn't effective. So if the horse isn't moving or driving away with that lead foot, then you got to put a little bit more, maybe a lot more, until they get the idea that, oh, that's pressure. It's the driving. So if I'm talking to that foot, the lead foot, and I'm asking it to step out. So if that just kind of went, don't worry about it. Might be a good topic for a lesson sometime, or just play with the idea of, hey, can I talk to that outside foot? And remember, as the hoof is coming up, that's where you can influence where it goes. When the foot's at the top of the stride, you're late. It's already committed to where the horse wants to put it. So if your timing's all off and you cue something here, the horse can't change in midair. It's impossible unless they're magic. It's not a magic carpet. But right as the hoof is coming up, that's when you can influence it. So knowing your footfalls, like we talked about last week, knowing your footfalls is real vital. And then getting a feel, and there's no way we can do this in a webinar, but getting a feel for how to influence those feet as you're moving along, that's fun. That's really fun, because the horse goes, oh, that's easy, I can do that, instead of, so it actually melts a horse. You guys know Sticks there. He's my ulcer boy, and he's on a lot of medication, and I think we've got it under control. We're saddling him like today we did 4 saddlings today, and just really helping him learn that the saddle isn't pain. And Mike called it out today. He goes, you just need to do 1,000 more of those. And I'm like, oh, you're right. You're absolutely right. To convince him that that's not pain. But that's the first thing I do with him. After the saddle's on, I talk to his outside leg and say, okay, I want you to bend. I want you to relax. I want you to bend. John Barr taught me that, and to apply that. He said, you got to get him relaxed in his body, and he'll realize it doesn't hurt. Because if he stays tense, then you're just you're building on tension. Let's start, just get him relaxed, get him relaxed. So it's very mentally tough, because he's waiting for it to hurt. Have you ever had bad fitting boots? And it takes a couple weeks before your foot trusts that it's not going to be a bad fit. I've had really bad fitting boots, so I get it. But that's what's going on with Sticks. So that's just another thing to do to build that relaxation in. So that's pretty nice. Cool. Any other questions? I would start this with just nodding your head and getting used to the timing of it all. And maybe just don't do the whole exercise. Just see if I could talk to that outside foot and say, hey, could you just get in time with it? It helps if you wear a cowboy hat. Not really. Cool. All right, one more thing, and it's backwards S. That's what we talked about last time, how cool it is to do falling leaf followed by backwards S. So I got a couple videos here, and Marilyn, I should have checked with you. I hope it's okay to play your video since you posted it publicly on Facebook. I assumed it was okay. She's giggling. So let's put a Sticks one on first. And I started getting silly with this. I started, hopefully we won't see my dance moves on this. It was not good. All right, where is Sticks here? Sticks is at 51. And it's Sticks pony, sticks walk move. This must be it. Oh, sticks backward S. That makes sense. All right. So before we show this, let me ask you a question, and you can put it in the chat. What's the benefit of a backwards S? Why would anybody work on a backwards S? Because Tom said so. Pat said it was a good idea. Draw, absolutely. Connection and flexion, absolutely. It helped our draw immensely. Hindquarter yield, yeah. Collection, yeah. You guys get good answers. So I got a question for you. There's two ways that I have seen backwards S in the program. One way has been to teach the horse draw, and it's all draw. The other backwards S that I've seen is where you walk straight backwards and push the horse's shoulders from right to left. So I've seen both of those versions. The one that I want to show you now is Mario. Mario's jumping on the camera. Sorry. The one I want to show you is the one where you push the shoulders from side to side. I don't want you to get confused. There are two. I've seen both of them. I've seen Pat teach both of them. And then there's a one where you just walk. You're walking back at an angle, and you encourage your horse from the side with some pressure to draw to you. So this one's different. This is the backwards S that's pushing the shoulders. So let's put it on. Yeah, we're on Spotlight Video. And the horse knows it's not a draw exercise because of my arm. So if you see, my arm is pointing and I'm pushing, pointing and pushing. You see that? And then you walk straight forward again for falling leaf. And on this one, I try to keep just me marching on forward and not worried about, let's just see what happens. Okay. So that was pretty good there. So a real benefit to this backwards S is that it helps dominance quite a lot, because you're pushing the shoulder away. So even there, he's thinking draw to Tom, because I'm walking backwards and I'm saying follow my suggestion. Follow my suggestion. There, he's got it. So a horse, the question came up this week in a lesson. The horse, somebody had a horse that was being very dominant on a zone 3 driving game. And I said, you need to push those shoulders away. Push the shoulder. Push the shoulder. So that's one way to do the backwards S. The other way is a pure draw. And then I would suggest ending this with a draw after you do a few of these, or end it with a circle game and then a draw. So I think he's looking pretty good there. So he's got plenty of hindquarter yield. This looks better than it did last week. Plenty of hindquarter yield, stepping us forward. Yeah, I love it. Very nice. Good job. Not sure about Tom, but the horse looked really good. So now let's take a look at Marilyn. Where's Marilyn? She's on Facebook. Boom and boom. And I really like Marilyn's for a couple reasons. First of all, I'm so proud of Marilyn for figuring out all the tech to get this thing posted. She did a very good job. And then the cat is hilarious in here. It's like, look out, watch out for the cat. And Marilyn's walking a really nice straight line, and really one of the other benefits of this that no one came up with was the human gets real handy switching tools. just like the falling leaf. So that's really nice. It's all relaxed. Horse is understanding to yield the shoulder. So here comes the falling leaf, I believe. There's a good hind quarter. Right here, I just pushed the shoulder a little bit more because he dropped his shoulder in. And there's a really nice hind quarter there. You see how he fixed his weight? So this is Caesar, right? Caesar is keeping his weight a little on his forehand, a little bit too much on his front. So see there how he's not, he can step that shoulder over a little bit more if he would learn to rock his weight back just a little bit. So these exercises that we've been doing will all help him with that. But in particular, Marilyn, when you do the 4/4 drive in the circle, it would help to back him a little bit and do back and over. So like right there, he's not really doing much with his lead leg when you're asking. I see you asking it, but he's not stepping over. So this will help him a lot. And if I recall, he's recovered nicely from an injury that I think is in his front end. I'll ask you about that in a second. But if he could step that lead leg farther over, that'll help balance his weight more and get some of that weight off of his front end. So I think that would help him a lot. But Marilyn looks so smooth, and this looks so nice, and really nice carvy turns. There's so many nice things about this. I really like it. And she was also savvy about how she used her arena. She used it on the diagonal so she could have lots of room. And it looked really good going straight towards the camera too. So excellent. So let's give Marilyn, let me turn that back to gallery so I can see everybody. Let's give Marilyn a round of applause. Yay, Marilyn, that was awesome. Really good stuff. So hey, Marilyn, can you unmute yourself and talk a little bit about that process of putting that together? Because I know you had some help and you guys struggled with that just a little bit to put it together.
Yeah, you guys are making me learn way too much techie stuff. The main thing that bothered me about the whole thing was him bringing his shoulder in too much to me. I need to work on trying to keep him out from me. The injury, yeah, we lost most of last summer with him abscessing. And I mean, he was a 3-legged horse for most of the summer last year. And then I've got a gal that's been working on straightening his body because his right shoulder is lower. And I think this has been the issue that I've been having with taking the right lead. And this, I think, is probably going to help him in how he carries himself.
Excellent. Yeah, all these things really do help a lot. That's great. You're on a good path with him. Did you send me? I think you sent me a test video, and I saw a right lead canter.
Yes.
Was I dreaming, or was it?
No, you weren't. No. We're starting to get a right lead. I got 2 or 3 of them today. I had Cheryl over and we were playing, and we're doing pretty good with that.
Great. Carry on.
Yes.
Carry on. Excellent. Anybody have any questions about backward desses? And
Allison had a question.
Allison. In chat. Allison, what can you recommend for a horse that leans in on you during the figure 8? Yeah, and that's kind of what Cesar's doing a little bit. He's kind of almost leaning in a bit. I always go back and I think, all right, what's busted? What element is missing or something? Try to go backwards, and the element that's missing is drive front end, drive zone 2, driving zone 2. So if you can go back and isolate, separate, you've heard Pat say this, and great people say this about all kinds of endeavors. Separate, isolate, separate, get it right, get the element right, then recombine it back into the figure 8 or the backwards S. So I would work on that 4/4 drive game. And now there's 1,000 different ways to do that. The one that I think works best, and maybe Allison, you can shoot a quick 2-minute video and show me, but sometimes when the horse is it's too late when they're so close. The horse is right here with their shoulder, and you can't lift, swing, touch anything. They're too close. So sometimes I'll do an underhand like that, because if the horse's body is right here, I can't lift and touch anything. It's not effective, but I can go underhand and say, hey, bump that out, bump that shoulder over. And if that doesn't work, then go back to porcupine game, because I bet it's not very good at the porcupine game. And that's where you can go right on. You can put your finger on their jugular and then your other hand on their shoulder and say, could you step that front end over, and really learn to do that. And I bet on I've been Marilyn's horse, and I bet on Allison's horse, they're going to dump forward. And so the name of this game is perfect. It's, oh, by the way, back up. That's the name of the game. By the way, back up. So you do one step over, and then they head forward. Peaches did it in the video. And then you take your hand on their shoulder in the front with the porcupine and say, oh, by the way, would you mind backing up? And so just one step over and back up. One step over and back up. One step over and back up. Pretty soon you'll see, oh, that's easier. The horse will figure out it's easier if I put my weight back. So by backing them up, you're actually getting them to put their weight on their back end a little bit more, frees up their front end to be able to do the move. They'll figure out that it's easier. And that's my definition of good horsemanship. Set it up so your horse figures that out. So, oh, by the way, back up. So try that. Try that, Allison. That'll make a big difference.
One more thing, if you don't mind. Okay. I mean, this is awesome. I'm so glad you covered this for me, because I will definitely practice what you're telling me and isolate, separate, recombine. But when I do the circling also, he just leans on the halter. I mean, he's LBI. So is it because he's bored? Or I don't know.
Is he leaning to the outside? In other words, the rope's real tight?
Yeah.
Yep. He's not bored. So this happens there's a number of reasons for it. One can be he's concerned about something to the outside. So if that's the reason that he's leaning to the outside, we'll call it a bad banana, right? Because the banana should be faced towards you, not away from you. So he's not really on the circle if he's got that bad banana. So we need to look at the mental thing of making him think the center is more interesting, which means disengage the hindquarter when it happens and draw him in right to the center and give him scratches and then send it back out again. The moment he goes again off to the outside, disengage the hindquarter. Who remembers the other name for the hide your hinding game? Anybody? It was 2 or 3 weeks ago. Shakya, I think, won it last time. She's not here tonight, so she can't answer. It's called the connection game. So if you hide the hiney, the front end comes right towards you. Duh, you got connection again. So Allison, that I almost got in trouble with Pat Parelli, because Pat Parelli says with his instructors, and it's a very rigorous program. If it's a licensed Parelli professional, you know you're getting something good. But his biggest concern is somebody's going to change the program. So somebody like Tom's going to come out with game number 8. It's it's different from the other 7, but better because Tom's game number 8. So I was joking around, and Julie Pivison and I were joking around with this. We came up with the 8th game, and it's the 1/8 game. So send your horse on a circle. You'll probably only get an 1/8 of the circle, so a little slice of the pie before the head goes away. Disengage, come back in, and just you might be a win if you get a 1/4 of a circle with that horse looking at you. Because an awful lot of times when we send our horse, we're pushing the shoulder, and they're going, well, I'm out of here then if she's going to push me. So the idea is put your pressure on the horse's shoulder, and we want them to continue to look at you on the circle. So the moment he looks away, disengage, draw back in. That's if it's the mental thing. There's a physical reason that can be happening too. And horses that have been lunged a lot or put in a circle with a lot of pressure on the line, they've learned, so if this is the person and I'm the horse, and there's tight line right here, the pressure's on this side of my face to keep me in the circle. So if you just keep that pressure on the whole time and keep that horse bent, so draw reins will do that, or someone who's lunging incorrectly with a lot of rope tension. The horse is always like this. So then all of a sudden when that goes away, they've actually built the wrong set of muscles because they braced on this for so long. So that when you give them a nice loose rein, they'll go, oh. In fact, I just want to do it right now because I was just bracing against my own hand. It feels better to do that. So everybody do that. Put your hand up here and push against it for about 5 or 10, 15 seconds. Push harder, push harder, push harder. Now take your hand away. It makes you want to lean over, doesn't it? So that can be what's happening too. There's again, Allison, there's a lot of ways to fix that. So maybe shoot me a video. We could do a quick video lesson on it. There's a way you can kind of tip the nose and release it and push the shoulder. David Lichtman's Game of Two Eyes is a really good thing to fix that up too, if you guys know of that. So there's lots of different things I can point you to. So great question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Cindy, go ahead. You have to unmute yourself, Cindy.
Got it. Okay, so in my typical fashion, I'm trying to get sequence here. As we talked about this with Cheyenne also moving the shoulder in, right?
Yep.
So is it ask her to back up and then move the shoulder over? Or is it move the shoulder over, back up if they go forward?
Yes.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yes, either way. Either way.
Either way.
There's no wrong. There's no right or wrong in that.
Yeah, because she's heavy on forehand anyway. So I'm wondering if I just say, okay, let's just stop, back up, and then I'm going to ask you to move over. That it'll set her up to move more easily. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, cool. Thank you for
So
clarifying.
the key is don't just do one back and over, back 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 over, and you'll feel it. It'll get light, and then go, oh, that's great. Could you do that all the time? And you'll start again, and they'll dump forward again, back over, back over. Just put it in, pepper it in, as Pat Parelli would say, salt it in.
Okay. Thank you.
Good, good. All right. Patty, I see a dog's tail on your video. That looks really cute. All right, I have a question, and the winner of this question wins H&P Equestrian Farm mug. These are our new mugs. They've got our logo on the front, and they're really nice. They're ceramic. They're nice and heavy. We had a bunch of them made, so we're excited about it. So the question is, Mike, come up with a question. Well, I'm going to make this an interesting question. So what is the least, and first person to type it in, so what is the least used game of the 7 games? If you were to ask Pat Parelli. Which game is the one that's least used and probably should be most used? So I see friendly, squeeze, backup, porcupine, porcupine, friendly. Everybody got your answer in? Let it go another minute or so, or a second or so. And everything tastes better in this mug, by the way. Another porcupine, yo-yo, good. You guys got great ones. The answer is porcupine. So congratulations, Marilyn, you won the mug. Yee-hee. Oh, you have to come here to get it.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that. I'll be seeing you this summer.
Or I can deliver it along with a private lesson if you want. Cool, everybody. Well, thank you again, and I'm glad that we're easing up on our restrictions, and everybody stay safe, be smart, do all the right things, and have some fun with your horses. And thank you Thank you. So that's it. Let's do a savvy clap, and we're out of here. Wait, see you next week. Same time, same channel. Savvy. Great job, everybody. Thank you. I can stop the recording. Stop.
Could I share a